Awesome. Welcome to the call, everybody. It's so good to see some really good familiar faces. I also peruse through the customer service emails and I see some familiar names coming through there as well too. And that's actually really heartwarming to see that. So I just want to thank you all for being here tonight and being part of this journey that I'm excited about, obviously. But more importantly, what we're doing as a company and also who I partnered with. I couldn't ask for better partnerships than with Elisa and Sean, and then also our top distributors as well with Jonathan Brister, Ali Carlson, Jessica. I can't remember your last name, Jessica, but what's Jessica's last name?
Smith, come
Oh,
on.
I can't forget that. Jessica
I mean,
Smith.
like the most basic name.
Yeah. So she's really going to sit. And earlier today, I was on a call at 11 o'clock. I actually shared my messages with Sean and Elisa. And this is an old contact I had from my past, and they're really excited too. But he's getting all his international contacts ready. So we're really excited about the future. And Sean's going to speak to that at the end of tonight's call. Sean is really kind of like the leader of this whole thing, kind of putting everyone together and leading the charge. And we couldn't be under better leadership than with Elisa and Sean. So I'm just humbled to be working with them and all of you once again. So this company, I'll just kind of rifle through this. We like to make our product the hero story because it really is about this product. And the company Square One. If you think about the name Square One, it really comes down to this idea of sometimes we go down a path, and it's I liken it to a dirty room, right? Like, have you ever had a messy room? I do that quite often, and I don't know where to start. And I remember my mom would always say, "Well, you start at square one, whatever. You just start somewhere." And sometimes we just don't know where that place is. And so we find ourselves going off on these tangents and ultimately just not being where we really planned on being. So we wanted to create a company that gives you the space to come back to square one, to that place where you can begin again, or that place that you can continue your journey, but also put you on that right direction to really hit those goals that you're trying to achieve. And so what you're going to see tonight is a concept of a company, not just a product that we believe is going to be something really significant in this space and its industry, and we're going to change a lot of lives. And we're excited to do that with all of you. One of the things we are is we say discover your best. We are the world's first green drink that contains a metabolic health supplement all in one, and we'll talk about what those are and what that means in this presentation. We're also going to help you improve your longevity with our products. So we're not just a single product show. We will have other products coming out, but the idea is to help every one of you to live a longer and more meaningful life. And we're going to go over, and as we go through this presentation, ask yourself, have you wanted to start over? If are you on the current trajectory you want it to be? Is it time to start over in square one? What are you looking for health-wise? What supplements? What kind of partnerships? So those are questions that you should be asking yourself as we go through this presentation of this company that we put together called Square One. So welcome to the call. Welcome to really, we haven't even started taking pre-enrollments. I think Elisa's got some information on that shortly here, but we're getting really close, guys, to making this a reality. And as you know, this is pre-launch because we haven't even pre-launched. So we're just hearing the story of what we're doing. So welcome tonight. So obviously you need a team that drives this together. I've talked about Elisa. I met Elisa 9 to 10 years ago. I started a company with Sean, actually called back in the day, about 9 or 10 years ago. And I got a ticket out to Florida and I met with Elisa and two of her friends. She had never met me before. I never met them before. And I shared with her this idea of a company we're putting together. And she said yes. And she wound up being our master distributor for that company and really made a significant income for herself, her family, and did a tremendous job for that company. And then, as you know, Sean and I have known each other actually a very long time. We came across each other when I was corporate at Zango. Sean was an investor in Zango. And I always say Sean's got this magic touch, and those on this call are going to understand what I mean. He's got this ability to just everyone's going to like him and love him. He's like this magnet of like goodness, and everyone just loves to be close to him. And I've recognized in that in Sean, and it's something I know it's very important to the space that we have. And his relationship with everyone I know he has is so good. It's what makes him and gives him the magic. But it goes even further than that, because every time I've worked with Sean, it's always turned into money. It's never not turned into money. I don't think I've ever lost money with Sean. And Sean actually has a very, very strong track record with picking the right horse, is what I like to say. In fact, I always tease Sean, he's got the Midas touch, and it's nice to be partnered with him. When I came across this product and I came across this company that we're putting together, it's a weird turn of events how the whole thing happened. And one of these days we'll have that time and space, maybe at a convention I can share that. But the most important thing that came out of that was I felt the impression to talk to Sean, and I hadn't talked to Sean in probably 7 or 8 years. And I dialed him up, and he was receptive. And the thing I said to him was this, and I want you guys to consider this. I said, Sean, I'm not going to sell you on anything. I just want to show you. Just come down. I want you to meet this guy. This was Gavin and Dynamic Blending. And then I want to take you to this farm, and I want to show you that what we have. And when Sean came back, and Sean, I don't know if you're on mute, but go ahead and speak to that. What was your words to me, man, when you said after I shared that with you?
I think it was something along the lines is how did you pull this off? Or
That's right.
How to find this? Like, this is a grand slam.
Yeah. And so Sean knew immediately. So he talked to Elisa. And so anyways, we're at that spot here we are today. So going back to the product, I'm very familiar with the weight loss space. I see the value in it. It's something I've always been kind of drawn to. And I just know that there's a lot of money into that industry. In fact, just last year in the United States alone, it was over a $93 billion a year industry. That's the size of the market share just in weight loss. And then what we did is we combined that weight loss with a greens drink. And when I say greens, we're not talking kale and broccoli. We're talking super antioxidants, barley, wheatgrass, alfalfa. When you look at that market, it's currently a 2.7 billion a year industry. Now, the thing that's important to note about both these industries is that they're both growing. In fact, I believe the greens industry is growing at double digits. I think it's anywhere from 8 to 10% in the next year. And the weight loss, I think it's even higher than that. I'm not quite sure on the numbers, but it's an area that everyone is interested in, general health and weight loss. And we've put that together. And when I was on my call this morning with this team from there, I'll just say they were from Korea. What they were really interested in was this idea of taking this product, a natural weight loss product, all over the world. And so this leader, he was talking to me about Malaysia, and he was talking to me about Mexico, and he was talking to me about Singapore. He has all these connections, and I'll tell you why that's important. Because this product is just greens and a protein called AMPK. Those two combined ingredients will not get held up in customs. It will be able to go all around the world and never get shut down or put on any sort of health restriction by any sort of health regulatory agency. So that's probably the most important thing for you to understand as a business owner. As our flagship product, it's available for everybody around the world, and there's no stimulants in it. Those that have been on weight loss in the past, they know when you have a stimulant, you can grow accustomed to it. You can build a tolerance to it. A lot of times the FDA will come in and regulate it, just kind of destroying your business in the process. This will never have those issues. This is a product that with the AMPK that we use has double-blind placebo studies showing significant weight loss and cardiovascular improvement simply by taking 450 milligrams of this AMPK a day. Our product has 475 milligrams of this today. You combine those two, you have probably one of the largest markets out there of something that's never been on the market, which is a greens drink with an AMPK activator into it. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the greens. This is a picture of me sitting there in Delta, Utah. And this is actually, I came across this field, this farm, probably 5 or 6 years ago. I'll tell you what's unique to it. Once I was there, once I met the farmers, once I saw the process, and I saw this whole entire process. In fact, the pictures you're going to look at are actually from my phone that I took. And what's interesting is they don't even allow people to take pictures anymore. Sean and Elisa came down with me. And they're like, no cameras. You got to put them in like this little special room because they're really, really secretive about their process because they're the only one in the world. I'm going to say this again. They are the only one in the world who has this process. And here's how this in fact, Allie was there. Jessica was there as well. Remember, Allie, we had to put our phones up. You couldn't go in. But what we're able to see is, first of all, these farmers bought up this land in Delta, Utah. The question is, why Delta, Utah? Delta, Utah is the remnants of an inland sea. What's left of that inland sea called Lake Bonneville is the Great Salt Lake. Now, the Great Salt Lake used to be much, much bigger. It covered most of the state of Utah. Well, as that lake receded, what it is, it left sediments, tons and actually depths of sediment. In fact, they took us to a river, and you can see the different mineral deposits all the way down. We're talking feet down. And that's important because typically in a river or a sea that or a lake that drives out into the ocean, that sediment, that rich soil gets lost in the process of taking it out to the ocean. Well, because the Great Salt Lake is an inland sea, it just collected all that. So that's one part. Second part, there's a volcano in Delta, Utah. This active volcano churned up the soil. So you have these fresh ingredients from the earth being mixed with this sediment from this lake, creating some of the richest soil on the planet. And then what makes it even better is that no one farmed this land. This is virgin land. No one had farmed it until these farmers bought it. So they're the first people to farm this land in Delta, Utah, making the soil rich. And they've been using 100% organics certified methods the entire time, which means the soil is always rich, it's always nutritious, and the grass they're growing is some of the most nutritious grass in the world. And that is unequivocally said. They can prove that with the documentation. But so the key is now you've got this really, really amazing grass, right? So how do you get it? How do you get that nutrition? We all know that if we could eat grass, we would be like the cows, the horses, and sheep, right? But our stomachs cannot break down the cellulose, which is the barrier that protects all of the chlorophyll and all the vitamins and nutrients found within the grass. So what these farmers do is they take it, they'll take a big tractor, and I've been on this tractor, as a matter of fact, it's kind of cool. They cut it, put it into this big bin, and they immediately take it to this juicer right here on the left-hand side. It's one of the biggest juicers I have ever seen in my entire life. It's humongous. When I went in here, this is actually a picture taken with my phone. I was covered in all green chlorophyll and juice. It was unreal. But you can see that we use only the juice. Now, if you look to the right-hand side of that picture, you'll see two green things combined. One is a competitor you're probably all familiar with, a company called AG1. The other one is us. This is our AMPK greens. And look at the color difference. You can see just the nutritional value is different because one is dried grass, the other one is dried juice. So what you're doing is reconstituting the juice, which contains all the nutrition anyway, when you open up a box of the AMPK greens, giving you the best green. Now, this is just the greens part on the market today. And the best thing about it, guys, is they taste good. In fact, I'll tell you one more thing about this as I move on. When you're at the farm, and you can see the pictures I've taken of the grass, I've actually eaten the barley grass from the actual field, and it's sweet. It's not bitter. It's actually very sweet. In fact, I'll tell you something statistically unique about barley. It has roots that are 20 feet deep. So imagine roots that go 20 feet deep, and what it's doing, it's sucking up all those nutrients. In fact, they're saying because it goes so deep and because of the remnants of that lake, it's like a modern day natural Gatorade. There are electrolytes naturally occurring in the barley grass, which you get when we take this product and take the juice. The best part, the part that's really unique to what we do is it's a proprietary system. They don't boil it and they don't even freeze dry it. They have a system by which it goes in this little hanger, this little thing. It goes up this chute, goes across and down. And basically what they're doing is they're encapsulating the droplets of the greens. So when you get your greens, when you add water, you're reconstituting the juice. I promise you guys, it's the coolest thing I have ever seen and makes us very unique in this market space. Okay, the barley juice, why did we choose barley? Well, first of all, barley is very rich in essential nutrients. If you haven't done your research on barley, try it. Just do it. Google it, AI it, whatever you need to do. There are so many benefits to barley juice. Now, a lot of people ask, well, is there going to be gluten in it? No, there's no gluten in the grass. Gluten occurs in the barley, the little balls that come out after it turns into wheat. That's the actual gluten. When it's just grass, there's absolutely zero gluten. So it's a gluten-free product. But it's very rich in essential nutrients. It boosts your energy naturally, supports digestion and gut health, promotes detox and cleansing, and enhances your overall health. And that's just the greens portion of it. We've also added something else called chlorella. If you haven't done your research on chlorella, go ahead and do that as well too. It's an antioxidant, anti-aging, helps remove heavy metals from your bodies, and enhances human response, improves your digestion, increases energy levels. But the combination of these two gives you one of the best greens market on the market today. But it didn't just stop at the greens. Just if we did the greens, we'd have a great product. But when I met Gavin, who's one of the owners of this company, one of the things when we talked about is I said, look, if you build me a good weight loss product, I can bring you a network. That was our deal. So he put together something called AMPK activator. And where we source our AMPK, if you don't know what the AMPK pathway is, highly recommend Google it. Also, get yourself educated on this. The AMPK activator that we use has double-blind placebo studies showcasing weight loss, increased cardiovascular, and many other health benefits along the way. This is not something that we say may cause weight loss. This will cause weight loss. And that's essential when you're building your business. You can use and you can reference these double-blind studies. We are using the brand name, and trust me, it wasn't cheap. It's expensive to do this, but it's important to do it because you're getting the best story. Here's how, I'm going to just give you briefly how AMPK works. Your body runs off of sugar, ATP. When your body runs out of ATP, it starts looking for other ways to burn energy. Now, one way that everyone was familiar with back in the day was ketosis. You guys remember ketosis? No carbs, only proteins, and your body starts kicking into this, oh, we got to find carbs. So it's breaking down fat in your body. It's very lengthy to do, and a lot of the salts that they created with that weren't really as effective as they thought. The AMPK pathway is the same way. It's an enzyme created in your liver when you do fasting, when you do interval training. So when you're working out really, really hard and you deplete all your sugar levels, AMPK then is produced in your body, which triggers your body to burn fat. So what they're able to find with this natural ingredient called Active AMP is that it activates the AMPK pathway without having to fast, without having to do the exercise. And the studies have shown that when your body is burning AMPK, you will be losing weight. And I can tell you, I've done that myself and have lost weight and increased my cardiovascular the whole time. And we won't go into my story right now, but I just want you to understand, do your research on the AMPK. Not only do we have an AMPK activator, we have the actual brand with the double-blind placebo studies that go with it. When you combine that with the greens that we have, you're going to get one of the best flagship products. Now, I say flagship because this doesn't mean that's all we're doing. It's the flagship. This is going to be our staple. You're going to be able to boost your metabolism and increase your fat burning. You're going to enhance your cellular energy production. You're going to support healthy blood sugar levels. In fact, the studies have shown that the reduction in your blood sugar levels is one of the reasons why you actually lose your appetite. So there's a common one on the market called chromium picolinate. That's a good one to kind of reduce your hunger. By reducing blood sugar levels, you naturally aren't hungry. In fact, if you look at AMPK, it's nature's natural metformin. That's exactly what the science will tell you. It acts the same way that metformin does, and that's what we're using. It's going to promote longevity and overall vitality. As you age, your cells do not work as nearly as efficient as we like them to be. That's just the aging process. What AMPK does has been shown to increase the metabolic processes of your cells, increasing your life, increasing longevity, and basically what they say is it reverses aging. And that, like I said, this is all stuff you can actually read online. You don't have to believe me. You can actually fact check it. Okay, and then I want to say something else very unique about this, and this is something that Elisa was very passionate about. When she came out and when she saw the farm and she met Gavin and saw the facility, she saw the vision right away too, because she really liked this idea called farm to finish. And the idea is when you are with other network marketing companies, typically their formulations, typically their products come from mass-produced manufacturers, and they white label them. They don't know where the products are resourced. They don't know where the greens come from. They may not know where the AMPK source is from. They just put it all together, and then they say things like may help with or could this. We can definitively say it does do this because of the ingredients we have. In addition to that, we own the process from the farm, which we're going to take you as our reps and take you on tours there, all the way to the manufacturing facility where you get to watch the whole process from farm to finish. And this gives you the luxury of knowing that you have a product that you own the entire process along the way. Once again, very unique in this space. It's what makes our product the best, and it's what makes our story probably, I think, the best story in the industry today. So if you're going to be comparing our grains just to even AG1, which of that 2.8 billion, they're the ones who are doing over 2 billion of that 2.8. They do a lot. But if you compare our products side by side, does theirs have a metabolic activator inside? No. Do they have a single source ancient volcano soil that they use to grow their grains? No. Do they have cellulose? Yes. Is it easier on digestion? No. Do they use a fresh, cold pressed ingredients? Absolutely not. And do they use artificial fillers and additives? They do. We don't. We beat them in every category, and that's just the greens category. Imagine the weight loss that we have. Now, the last thing I want to touch on is our SQ1 culture, the Square One culture. As you guys know, those that do know me, I'm very passionate about culture, events, recognition. These are things that I know Elisa and Sean, we all love to do together as a team. It's what drives our motivation in this industry. It's great to have a great product. It's good to have a good compensation plan, but creating the actual tools for you to attach to and to help you on your journey is what really is the glue of a company. In fact, I'll say this. I say this, I've been saying this for years. In fact, when I met Sean, I said this. If you ever want to know the culture of a company, look no further than the owners. The owners of that company always dictate the culture of that company. I want you to keep that in mind. As you look around and you see other opportunities come by, ask yourself, what kind of people are the owners? How are they? What are they passionate about? What kind of people are they? Those are important decisions in your business, because I promise you, the way that people launch these companies, or everything's all good and dandy until all the money comes in, and then their true personality comes out. It's a whole different ballgame. And I will tell you, what people are passionate about is what a company will become passionate about. So if you want to know what SQ1 culture is about, look at Elisa. If you want to know what SQ1 culture is about, look at Sean. Those are the individuals that are going to represent this company moving forward as we build this. Look at Ali, look at Jonathan Brister, look at Jessica. These are people that make us the company we are. We're going to have a program. Now, I'm not going to go into too detail tonight, but we have a few things. One I'm going to touch on is urban hiking. Everyone knows I love walking programs, but I also am an advocate of getting people involved in a cause, in a system that we can do things day by day. So we're looking at conceptually an idea called Getting Square. And we're going to focus on 4 areas of your life: the physical, the community, the financial, and mental. And, that's going to be fleshed out. But just know, as a company, we're going to be creating things along these lines that fit these. And how do we do that? By focusing on having metabolic longevity products. 2, health span coaching. 3, the Square Up Challenge. 4, incentive and longevity trips. Those are the things as a company we're going to be focused on as we bring this to market and as we work as a team. And those are the things we're going to be focused on as we bring this out. Now, lastly, I want to talk about the urban hiking portion of it. This is really the culture part that I really love, and I want everyone to do as we grow this company. As you know, I was a part of a company that we did a thing called the 10K Pledge, and I really love that. And as we grow this company, we're going to be out there walking with every one of you. Just know that if you don't have walking shoes, go get them, because we're going to be walking. I see Sandy on this call. I've been watching her on her Facebook. She's been walking like a mad lady, and I love it. And I love that passion. And I want everyone to understand that passion is the glue that holds a company together. Those are the type of people that create that aurora around them that just draws people in because they're doing something. They're behind a cause. And those are the things that really drive this space in this industry. So urban hiking. The reason why we chose as a company urban hiking is we want to start with this phrase as your adventure starts at your front door. You don't have to get a pair of hiking shoes. You don't have to go to a trailhead. You don't have to go up the mountains. You literally can open your front door and go for a walk. And we want you to do that. And we're going to challenge you to do that. In fact, what we're putting together are social media challenges where we're going to give points for those challenges. And in those challenges and those points, you accrue enough, we're going to give you swag or incentive trips, discounts, convention tickets. But in the beginning, we want you going outside and taking pictures, at least 5, of where you're from. Like, show us what part of Mississippi you're from, or what part of Australia you're from, or what part of Utah. It doesn't matter. And we want to collect those pictures, and our social media page is going to be identified by all of our associates who are showing us a little bit about who they are, like what stands out to them. I'll talk about how this idea came really quick. So as you guys know, I've traveled literally everywhere. Sean made a comment like, I don't think you've met anyone with as a 2 million miler. I'm a 2 million miler in Delta, which is actually very hard to do, which means I've been a lot of places. And I tell you that because every place I've been has its own beauty. Every person I've been with said, hey, let me take you here, Travis. Let me show you this. Let me show you this. And every place has its own beauty. And as this company grows, we want everyone to share that little bit of beauty of them with all of us. And by building this community of urban hiking, this is how we build that glue that keeps us all together. So when I see you at convention, I can be like, oh, hey, Mississippi. And I can name, Biloxi. I don't know if that's a real city in Mississippi, but it sounded like it was. Anyways, you guys get my gist. So that's what we are going to be focused on as a company, guys. And I couldn't be more excited to share this with you. It's one of the, if you guys haven't figured it out, it's what I'm passionate about. It's what I love to do. I love health. I love industry, this industry. I love people making money. I love creating a cause. And I can't be more happy doing that with Elisa and Sean and all of you who I recognize, who I've done this with before. And to do this again is a blessing that I never thought was going to happen. And to be where I'm at tonight on this call with all of you, on the verge of launching our pre-enrollment, on the verge of launching this company with my friends, with people I love and know and cherish, who have made a huge impact in my life, is nothing more than a pure blessing in my life. And I hope none of us take that for granted because I'm not. And I'm excited about that. And I want to thank you all for your time here tonight.